Right. Good evening, dear students. We just concluded the singular session and now we are going to start the English medium session for MAF subject. The lecturer is one of famous lecturer in the field of education and also a fellow member of AAT Sri Lanka and the member of other professional bodies as well. I cordially invite Mr. Hashan Waduge to continue the session for English medium student. Dear Hassan sir, this is over to you.
Right. Students, so I hope you can see me and hear me. Can you send a message to the chat box? Whether you can see me and hear me. We just finished a single medium session. That's right. You can see some templates. Okay. Thank you. Right. So students, first of all, I would like to thank AAT Sri Lanka Institute for organizing this kind of a revision session, series of sessions for the students who will be facing for 2023 August examination. So you will be having around 11 days, I think, right? So I would like to thank Miss this education division and Miss Dimali, Miss Ajani, Mr. Nalaka, and all the staff of AAT Sri Lanka, especially the education division, for inviting me to this session. So students, now, based on the past performances, right, in AAT, maybe not you, the previous students. So AAT Institute has analyzed, okay, from management, accounting, and finance, which is the area that most of the students haven't received our marks, let's say weak areas. So based on that, process costing is a significant area as per their communication. It's a significant area that most of the students are lacking, right? Who couldn't get marks, right? So that's why they invited me to do this session. So student, I'm also I was also a student like you back in, let's say 2010 or 11, I think. After done with the double O-level, I started doing AAT. So maybe this could be the first ever professional qualification for you as well. So same thing for me as well. But now I'm a chartered accountant, ACCA member, but everything I have achieved through the AAT qualification. So that's a proud moment for me to do this session. To do something for my professional qualification that I started. So student, now, since I have done the single medium session, I just erase the singular words, right? So I can have a template here. I don't need to waste time here. So students, before going for the process costing, right? Now I have shared a process costing paper with you. I hope you have that. Can we show the paper? Right? So I think you should have this paper with you now, right? You should have this paper with you, right? This question, this is the 2022 July past paper, question number 10. But before going for that, right? Before going for that, I will just explain a little bit on the process costing. Students, now, process costing, I know most of the students are doing this by heart, right? But not with the clear logic. What is this? Let me explain. Let's say, you know fuel, right? Fuel is a famous topic in Sri Lanka. You have diesel, petrol, gasoline, right? You have different number of fuel types. So normally students, when we manufacture fuel, maybe you can relate this for like clothes and all. We use a costing system, cost calculation system called process costing. As an example, let's say this is a process, right? This is a process. Still, I'm just explaining, right? This is a process. So in one particular manufacturing factory or a company, you can have different processes. Process 1, process 2, process 3. But just think this is a process, just a one process. So what is happening, students? We are putting input, right? We are putting input to the process. So once the process is done, there is output. There is output. So let's say if it is fuel, you may have petrol, diesel, gasoline. I mean, you have different types of products, right? Maybe there are some scraps as well. Maybe if you are manufacturing clothes, you will have small like fabric pieces once you are done with the production. So students, in process costing, what we do is, let's say most of the process costing systems or calculations we are done for a period of 1 month. If you have gone through your past papers, you know, okay, AAT Institute is giving the question as, okay, these are the information relating to the month of April, month of March, month of December, month of June. So what's happening? What's happening basically, let's say, okay, I think better I remove this one because I may need some power, right? Right? So let's say, students, you are in the month of April, right? So your month of April, your period is starting from 1st April, right? 1st April and ending with 30th, right? 30th, right? So your previous month is March. So what is happening? You are required to calculate the cost of the production for this particular month, April. April will calculate, right? So as of 30th April, what we are doing, maybe midnight, 30th April, we stopped everything, right? We get whatever the items finished on that particular time period. Okay, this much of liters, this much of kilograms done. So what's happening, students? Now, normally, if you know, in inventory, you have three different types of products, inventories. You have raw materials, you have finished goods, you have work in progress. But in process costing, mainly, we need to looking into two stocks. What are they? So when you are stopping the production on 30th April, students, you can have two different inventories, right? Inventories. What are them? First one is you have finished goods. You have finished goods. Then you have WIP, I would say work in progress. This WIP. No matter, you can write as WIP, right? At the examination, you can write as WIP. You don't need to write as work in progress because this is not an English examination. This is an examination that is being tested your management accounting knowledge. Then the students, when you have this finished goods, right? Finished goods. Just listen. You know, we started our production on 1st April for this particular period, right? 1st April. So there were some stocks, inventories as of 31st March. As of 31st March, which is not finished, that we called as WIP. So what is happening? These WIP on 31st March now becoming finished goods in April. I hope you understood what I'm saying, right? As of 31st March, there was a inventory, set of inventory, which is 60% done. Only the 60%. If it is a table, you have only 2 legs on the table. Another 2 legs to be fixed. So only 60% done, students. So the remaining 40% will be done in the month of March, right? Remaining 40% will be done in the month of March. Sorry, month of April. So at the end of the April, so this is 100% done. So when we get the April 30th inventories, finished goods, there is a one category of inventories. What is that? Inventories or the WIP from last month, right? WIP from last month finished in this month, right? So whatever the WIP from last month, that is finished in this month. And there are some finished goods which is started and finished in the same month, right? I hope you are getting my point. There are finished goods, right? Some finished goods were not finished in the last month, like 60% done last month, 50% done last month, 40% done last month, and whatever the remaining 60%, 50% or 40%, what is that is been finished off within this month. Now this is becoming a finished good. That's a finished good. That's a one category. And there are some finished goods which is not remaining in the last month. You start in this month, you finish in this month. So starting and finishing 100% of the production will be done in the same month, right? That's it. Then, so you have WIP also in this particular month, April 30th, you will have WIP. Now students, when you have these WIP from last month, there are two ways that you can prepare process costing accounts. Process costing or the cost of a production, cost of a good. What are the two methods? Anyone? Do you know? Do you know these two methods? Just the name. What is the name? What are the names? Right? Yes, you can send me the answers. What are the names? When you have WIP from last month, there are two particular methods, process costing, that you can prepare accounts. What are they? Two methods. One is WAC, right? Weighted average cost. Yes, thank you. Right? What are they? You have, yes, right? Mod Khalid, very good. Ishuddhika, very good. First one is Tamai FIFO. You have a method called FIFO, first in, first out. Then you have a method called WAC, weighted average cost of capital. Sorry, weighted average cost, right? WACC is there for the cost of capital. So Amar, very good. Thank you. But the student is FIFO now. Maybe you have the idea on the FIFO. Better when you have the idea of FIFO, but basically in your examination, AAT Institute will not test the FIFO in your examination, right? Mostly that is from the WAC method, WAC method, right? Maybe you have AVAC, same, right? Average cost method. Now student, in WAC method, what we assume is, right? What we assume is, now I told you as of 31st March, 60% is done, right? As of 31st March, 60% of the production done. So the 40% remaining to be done in the month of April. But when you are coming to the WAC, we assume what? Can anyone tell me? We assume what? We have an assumption. Anyone? Does anyone know? We have an assumption. What is that? When you are coming to the WAC method, we are actually assuming, yes, very good, Fama, very good, Fatima, very good. Fama, this is 2020. Can you show the paper? 2022 July. This is 2022 July, 10th question. Fatima, very good. Fatima Asma, very good. Full, right? We assume 100% will be done in the same month. Now, though that is 60% done in 31st March. Now, 60% done in 31st March. That's okay. But we assume, when we are coming to the WAC method, we assume 100% will be done only in the April. We will be doing a small adjustment to rectify that issue when we are doing this. Don't worry. In 5-4 method, that's other way around. We assume the rest will be done, but that is not in your syllabus. Now, so we assume 100% will be done in the same month. But to do the WAC method, the students, you need a very vital information, very important information in your question. Can anyone tell me what is that? Still, I'm not into the question, right? I'm just telling some basic stuffs because then only you can understand when we are going to the question. To do from the WAC method, students, this is basically for the opening stock, right? This is for the opening WIP. This is for the opening WIP, right? This is for the opening WIP. But opening WIP, we need some information. What is that? Opening WIP cost components, we need some information. To do this question, what is that? Can anyone tell me? You have the opening stock, right? You have the opening stock. You have the cost component, direct material, direct labor, variable overhead, right? Maybe fixed overhead, whatever you have. You need one information. What is that? Maybe when we go to the question paper, we can see. Question paper, right? What you have at the beginning of the, not really, not the current month cost. At the beginning of the month, there were 500 kilograms of opening work in progress in stock with the following level of completion. Now you have raw material, direct labor, variable overhead. You have percentage, you have value, right? You have the percentage and value. So answer is only one. Do you need the percentage or the value to do the WAC method? Yes, Fatima, very good. What is that? You need the value of each cost component. Very good. Dasmita, very good. Visuddhika, very good. You, to do the WAC, to do the FIFO, actually you need the percentage. So that we are not going to discuss here. But WAC, because this is what is being tested in the examination. To do the WAC, make sure students, you should have opening stock, opening WIP, value of each cost component, value of each cost component, right? So which means direct material, how much is the amount? Direct labor, how much? Likewise, right? So if you don't have that information, you cannot do the WAC method. Now students, right? So let's read the question. Let's read the question, right? Let's read the question, right? So then I will explain you, I will explain the full lesson. After this session, you will be able to understand the full lesson. Same thing happened in the Sinhala medium session as well. But let me go through the question first and read the question so you can understand. And then I will explain each area one by one and show you how to do a question, any process costing question. So why limited manufacture? So let's go to the requirement first. What is the requirement, students? So this is what we need to do first of all, right? Prepare the statement of equivalent units and cost and process account. Statement of equivalent units and cost and process account. That's the question. You have 14 marks, right? Normally there is a 14 marks question in the examination. Normally this one, variances, NPV, you have high marks in the question, examination. So let's go through the question. Now you can have a pen or highlighter. Maybe if you have the soft copy, you can highlight, right? At the examination, make sure when you get the paper, physical paper, you have to highlight or underline whatever the important information when you are reading the question. So Y Limited manufactures product OP2. Y Limited manufactures product OP2 through several processes. So they have several processes. The following information is relating to a process for the month of April 2022. April, right? Month of April. This is only for that particular month. Direct material given. So this means whatever you inputted, right? So you input Direct material 10,000 kilograms, 3.6 million, right? 3.6 million direct material they have inserted. Input is 10,000 kilograms. This is the value. Direct labor 1,944,000, 1,944,000. Variable overhead 648,000. Output, you receive the output once you put the input 8,600 kilograms. Normal loss 5% of direct material, and it can be sold at rupees 100 per kilogram. I will explain this, don't worry. Maybe there are some students who know this lesson, so you can refresh. Maybe if you know anything, right? You don't have any understanding on the process costing. Let's say this is the first time you are learning the process cost, it doesn't matter, right? I will explain. Okay. Then students, at the beginning of the month, there were 500 kilograms of opening work in progress in stock. So this means the opening WIP, right? Opening WIP with the following levels of completion, and opening work in progress is treated on an average cost basis. So what this average cost basis is? The WIP, the WIP. So it says raw material, which is the direct material, 100% completed at 175,000. Direct labor, 20% completed, 17,400. So this means the value, right? This means the opening WIP value. In the opening WIP, you have raw material value of 175,000. Direct labor, 17,400. Variable overheads, 15% completed, that is valued at say 7,330. At the end of the month, there were 1,100 kilograms of closing work in progress. What is this? Initially, you had opening work in progress. Now, at the end of the month, which is at the end of the April month, you have a work in progress of a closing work in progress of 1,100 kilograms, right? Then, which were 100%, 40%, and 30% completed with regard to raw materials, labor, and variable overhead respectively, right? So now I know when you are reading the question, if you are a student who is going through the process costing first time, you may not understand anything. I know that, right? But don't worry. Let me have a small, right? Working on what is this in the question. So then you will understand, right? Even at the examination, if you have time, you can do this. No problem. Now, students, what we are talking is, this is a process, right? This is a process. You have a process, right? This is the process. So, in this process, what we are manufacturing, the output is what? Output is what? What we are manufacturing, that is the product name OP2. The product OP2 is what we are going to manufacture. So for this process, student, what we are doing, we put input. Input. What are the input? Ask them, as per the questions, what are the input? So they say they have put direct material. I put as DM. DM is enough, right? Because AAT members will be reviewing your paper, so they know what is DM. Direct material. It is not direct message, right? Direct material. So DM, right? How many kilograms? 10,000 kilograms they put. The value is how much? Value they mention as 3.6 million. 3.6 million. Right? So these are the input you are putting. Then they say they have put direct labor. How much? The value? Direct labor value is 1,944,000. 1,944,000. Then they have variable overhead, right? Variable overhead, that is how much? 648,000. 648,000, right? So these are the input they put in this particular month, April. That's what the question says. I'm writing the same thing in the question. Question, right? Then the students, and they say there was a opening WIP. Opening WIP of how much? of 500 kilogram. 500 kilogram, the amount also given. So what is happening now? You put all of these to the process. Current year 10,000 kilograms. Previous year WIP, which is the current, previous month, right? Which is the current month's WIP. Is the April opening WIP 500 kilogram. So once you put these, what is happening? You will be getting output. You will be getting output called OP2. OP2, how much? How much is the output they received? That is, let's say, finished goods. Finished goods. They say, finished goods, how much? They say they received 8,600 kilograms, right? They received 8,600 kilograms of finished goods. Is it the only output? Yes, finished good is this one, but there are closing WIP as well. Closing WIP, that is how much? 1,100 kilograms. This is in the question. And this is not I'm writing. This is which is in the question. So 1,100 kilograms. They say what? Direct material, direct labor, and variable overheads. Done. The percentage also given. Direct material done by 100%. Direct labor finished, which is direct labor completed 40%. And variable overhead 30%. This is what given, right? So what is happening, student? Just a conclusion from the question. You have a process. You input 10,000 kilograms of direct material, which is worth of this much. You input direct labor, you input variable overhead, and also in addition to that, you have opening WIP of 500 kilogram. Once you put all these, you have output called OP2, production, this product, and finished goods you are receiving 8,600 kilograms. Closing WIP is 1,100 kilogram, and they are giving you the percentage. Now I told you need opening WIP cost component, but closing, students, you need the percentage to do this question. Now, I hope you understood the question now. So what to do now? How to do a process costing? How to do a process costing account and do the ledger accounts? There are 4 steps. If you know these 4 steps, you can do this question, right? If you know these four steps, you can do the question. Can anyone tell me what is the step 1? What is the step 1 in process costing? What is the first step we need to do? What we need to identify? Can anyone tell me? Can you send a message to the chat box? Right? If it's wrong, I'm not telling your name. If it is correct, I will tell your name. Right? Very good, Samla. Very good. Yes. Others? Others? What's the step 1? What's the step 1? Step 1, determining what? Determining. Yes. Yes, Samoda, yes. Partially correct. Yes, but the final objective is that. So Samla given the correct answer. That is what? Determining the output and losses. Determine output and losses. Right? Output and losses. This is the step 1. I will tell you, don't worry. Here you find out abnormal loss. So gain the normal loss. We find out here. But this is the step 1. I will tell you how to do it. Don't worry. But if you know these top 4 steps, you can do this question. You can get all 14 marks. So what is the step 2, students? Step 2, any answers? Step 2 is what? Very good. Right? Very good. Samla given the correct answer again. Others? Kevini, very good, Kevini. Yes, what? You need to calculate what? You need to calculate the equivalent unit cost. You need to calculate what? You need to calculate what? You need to calculate what? Equivalent, right? you need to calculate equivalent unit cost. Equivalent unit cost, I will explain this. So when you hear first time equivalent unit cost, what is this? You don't know, don't worry. What is the step 3? Step 3 is what? Third step is what? Third step, very good. Yes. You value? Yes. Anyone? Right? Boys are not interested in answering. Anyway, right? Right. Yes, Amla. So that is the value of output, right? You need to value the output. You need to value the output. Then the final step is what? This is also part of the question. Final step is what? Final step is what? This is part of the question. What is that? Yes. Prepare ledger accounts. Prepare ledger accounts. So basically they ask only to prepare the process costing account. Process cost account. Yes. Fatima, very good. Yes. Nasima, very good. Right? So these are the steps. So student, now we are going to start from the step 1. So when starting from the step 1, I will explain all these losses and all. Then we are moving to this one. So that's why I have this one. I haven't erased because I have done this for signal medium. So just erase the signal words. So third step, you do the value, you value the outputs and prepare ledger account. So give me 1 minute just to erase this part of the board. Student, step 1, right? Step 1, that is to determine the output and losses. I'm not going to write it again. Students, now there is an input. You input how much to this process? There is an input. You input how much? 10,000 kilograms. 10,000 kilograms to the process, right? So that's the input. Is it the only input? We had another input. What is that? That is the opening WIP. You input opening WIP. Now just see this. So what is happening? In this month, we input 10,000 kilograms of direct material. And there were 500 opening WIP, right? But there is a term called normal loss. Can you go to the paper? Right? What is this? Normal loss, 5% of direct material, and it can be sold at ₹100 per kilogram. Right? Yeah, this is started at 9. Let's say, Mama is asking, started like 25 minutes back, right? Right. Yeah, you can ask, don't worry. Right. So students, normal loss. Just see normal loss, right? What is the normal loss? Normal loss, what is that? Now you have 11 days. Right? Now what you are thinking, okay, I have to work at least 18 hours per day. That's how you start your day, right? Morning, okay, I'm going to work 18 hours. But what is happening? Though you think that you are going to work 18 hours, you will have some time to drink water, eat, right? Maybe fight with your brothers, sisters, parents, because these days you are having the pressure, right? So you have like 1 hour, 2 hours for like kind of wasting time. What is that? That's the normal news. When you are going to prepare a chair, what is happening? When you put wood, what is happening? When you are going to prepare it, there are some small wooden pieces that is going out when you are manufacturing. There are some items which is going out, right? So you cannot use the entire wood 100% for your production. When you are doing a production, student, there is a normal loss. There is a normal loss. Now, when you are writing the paper also, AAT Institute asks you to go to the next paper to do the question. Sometimes your question 1 will be finished at the halfway of that paper. So you are not going to write in the latter part, you are going to the next page. If you are going in the road, you see banners, right? Cutouts. So to prepare a cutout, so you have a rectangle version, no? But you need a bigger fabric, bigger material to prepare that particular part. Why? Because there is a wastage. There is a normal loss in every production. So what is this telling? When you input, just go to the question. What it says? 5% of direct material. Examiner is specifically telling you, right? Examiner is specifically telling you from direct material, there is a 5% normal loss. So from this direct material, which is the input, there is a 5% normal loss. If you put 10,000, there is a 5% normal loss. The remaining will be the output, right? Because always you should have a normal loss. If you want to get output, if you are going to get a, let's say, shirt, right? Fabric, there are, when you're cutting down, there are small pieces that you cannot use. So there is a normal loss. So 5% from the input, they say is the normal loss. So 10,000 from that 5%, how much is, students? Right? Montessori question, preschool question. 10,000 into 5%, that is 500 kilogram is your normal loss. 500 kilogram, yes, Nasima, very good. 500 kilogram is your normal loss. Then what is happening? Now you put the input, you have the opening WIP, and there is remaining something. When you are getting the output, that is what? There is a closing WIP of how much? Closing WIP of 1100. So students, just see this. Now when you are having the input, you put the opening WIP, you minus the normal loss, which is the loss that you are expecting. There is a closing WIP, you minus it. So there is a remaining, which is 8,900 kilograms. We call a word for this. Can someone give me the answer? What you called as this 8,900 kilograms? What is this? Anyone who knows the lesson know that, right? What is that? What's that? What's that? This 8,900 you call what? Very good, Samoda. Very good. Samoda or Samoda, right? Nasima, very good. Not Nasima. Small thing to correct. Others? Samoda. Very good, right? You can tell me whether you are a girl or boy so I can repeat your name again, right? Others, students, what is this? 8,900, what you call? This 8,900. This is what? Now you know there is input, you know there is opening WIP, you know normal loss will be happening, you know it. You know there is a closing WIP, what you call this. If you know the lesson, you know what is that? What we called is expected output. Expected output, right? Some of the given the correct answer. Expected output. We are expecting this. Why? Because normal loss, are we expecting? Yes. Because without the normal loss, we can't do the production. We know the opening WIP, we know the closing WIP. So we are expecting an output of 8,900 kilograms. But the thing is, though you are expecting 8,900 kilograms, students, what is happening? The actual output is what? You expected 8,900 kilograms, but your actual output is how much? Your actual output is 8,600 kilograms. Oh my God, what is happened? You expected 8,900 kilograms. Okay, we are expecting, but there is 8,600 kilograms. You are expecting the price for management accounting. You are getting just A pass. You expect A, you are getting a B. It can be other way around as well. So after this session, maybe you are getting A pass. What is happening? Your expected output and the actual output is now different. You expected this much, but you are only getting this much. So what you call this difference, students? What you call? What is this difference you call? This is very good. This difference we called what? We called, yes. Very good. Okay, now that everyone knows that, right? Asmita, Fatima, Samla. Very good. Mohammed, Mahdi, Asima, Ishalini. Okay, now only I read the names. Right. Okay. You have what? Abnormal loss. This we call as the abnormal loss. Why? Because we expected 8,900 kilograms, but we got only 8,600. So this is, we haven't expected. So this is not a normal thing. This is an abnormal thing. It's abnormal loss. But what if happen, if you are getting a more than 8,900, what you call this? Let's say you are getting 9,000. So you are having 100 excess. What you call that? That 100 excess you called as what? So this is 300 abnormal loss. It's abnormal gain. It's abnormal gain. So student, now we are done. Step 1 done, right? This is the step 1. So what you need to do is determine the output. Determine the output and losses, because these two, normal loss and abnormal loss, is really important. Is really important. Without this, if we are getting incorrect this first part, you cannot do the second part, students. So please make sure this is really important. You see this as an easier part, yes, but it's important. Then we are coming to step 2, which is to calculate the equivalent unit cost. We call this as equivalent unit statement, right? Equivalent unit statement. EU is enough, not European Union, right? It's the equivalent unit, right? AAT people, they know that. When they mark your paper, they know that. Don't worry. So students, now everyone should have this statement, right? This is something, a demonstration, how we are going to demonstrate. So first one, students, we have to have, right? First one, we should have here the output. We should have the output. Then we should have units here. So here it is given in kilograms. Now here, I have three parts. So at the examination, this could be 2 parts, this could be 4 parts, maybe 5 parts. How to determine this is 3? How to determine this is 3? How to determine you should have 3 parts? Is it just doing this? Or from the question, can you identify? These are what? These are for the, very good, Dashmita, very good. Yes, these are the cost components. So you have 3 cost components in the question, which are the direct material, direct labor, variable overhead. Very good. So direct material, students, direct material, direct labor, variable overhead. So here you should have this particular area is for the percentage, and this is for the equivalent units. Percentage, equivalent units. Percentage, equivalent units. So sometimes you can have additional material as well. So you should have more, right? Make sure. So this is how you can have this template. Now students, just listen. What you are going to put for the output. Now our final target is to calculate the cost of the production using the process costing, right? This is just one method of calculating the cost, basically for like production, when you have like continuous production, like fuel, clothes and all, the continuous production, right? So what is this output? Make sure, what is this? Output means when you put input, right? When you input these two, whatever coming out, it is not only the finished good, what is coming out from your input, which is from the 10,000 kilograms, 500 kilograms, what is coming out will be the output. So what are the outputs from the inputs? The first one is the normal loss, right? Normal loss, okay? Then the closing WIP is the output. Then the actual output, which is the finished good, is the output. Abnormal loss is an output, students. So these are the outputs you need to put here. Make sure every time, right? From the input, what is coming out? From the input, what is coming out is what you need to write here. Okay? Then I'm going to let me tell from the logic. Don't worry, right? So you have few outputs. First one is the finished goods, students. Finished goods. So you have how much? 8,600 kilograms. 8,600 kilograms. Then you have normal loss. Then you have normal loss, which is 500. That's why this is important. Step one is important. Then you have abnormal loss. Abnormal loss, which is 300, and closing WIP. Now, if it is a FIFO, it's a different one, but FIFO will not be tested at your level. Maybe if you are going to do charter, maybe if you are going to do ACCA in there, maybe you will have something like that. So students, there is a percentage mark. What is this? This means this is the direct material cost component. This is the direct labor. This is the variable overheads. So what we are seeing here, how much from each of these outputs finished from each of these cost component. As an example, finished good is 8,600. So if it is a finished good, how much should be done from each of these cost components? If it is a finished goods, so it's finished, it's done. How much should be done from direct material, direct labor, and variable overheads? It's fully, right? Sorry, finished good value is 8,600, right? Yes. No, 8,100 is for the what? Started and finished in the same month. 500 is closing WIP finished though, but we are doing the WAC method, so you don't need to segregate these two, right? This is 8,600. I hope you understood, Hassan, right? If it is a FIFO method, you have to divide it to two. But I told in the first, when I was explaining, there is an assumption. We assume what? We assume everything will be done 100% in this month, right? So this is 100%. This is 100%. This is 100%, right? If you need, you can divide this to 500 and 8,100. No need. It is for the FIFO method, right? So 100% done. Why? Because finished good. So student, easiest part, 8,600 into 1,000, 100%. 8,600. This again 100%. 8,600. Just a small mathematics, right? Okay. 8,600 into 100%. Likewise. Then the normal loss, right? I'm not asking this one. I'm asking the percentage. Can you tell me normal loss, how much is done as a percentage? Normal loss, how much of a percentage is done? Normal loss, as a percentage, how much is finished. It's very good. Samoda, right? Samoda, right? Samoda or Samoda, right? 100. Okay. How much? Normal loss. Now, students, can we go to the question paper? Now, it says 5% of direct material and it can be sold at 100% per kilogram. Now, students, in the paper question, they don't tell you when they are going to identify the normal loss. So make sure if the question doesn't say where they are going to identify the normal loss, you have to assume normal loss will be identified at the end of the process. Let's say as an example, when someone is manufacturing t-shirts, once you are done with the t-shirt, you get and identify, okay, can we dress this? Can we use this? No, you cannot use this. It's not direct, right? Capilla. So you cannot use this. Okay, this is a normal loss. So at the end of the production. So at the end of the production, you identify means, even though the normal loss is not good, right? You cannot use, but it's done how much? It's done 100%. It's done 100%. But if the question says normal loss will be identified at the middle of the process, then it's maybe 50% done, it may be 30% done, but it will not be tested at your examination. So student, make sure if the examiner is not telling anything, normal loss also 100% done. But tell me how much you are going to recognize here. How much you are going to recognize here? That is 100% done. Okay. Yes, Fatima, very good. How much you are going to recognize here? How much? Anyone? Can you tell me the answer for this? This is how much? This is how much? This is? We don't recognize normal loss. Very good. Why? It's zero. It's zero. Why, students? Why? Can anyone tell me why? If you are learning this by heart, yes. We know it's nothing. But why? Why we don't recognize normal loss here? Very good, Samla. Very good. Why? 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 Why, students? Because without normal loss, I told you, without normal loss, you cannot, what? It's an expected loss, as Samla told. Yes, that's correct. Without the normal loss, you cannot do the production, because normal loss is part of the production. Without a normal loss, you cannot get this output of 8,600. You are getting this output of 8,600 by having a normal loss of 500. Without the normal loss of students, you cannot have the finished good, right? So make sure that is the reason why, right? So can you explain it again? Okay, logic is not necessary, but I will explain. It will not be asked at the examination. Why you have 500, this is 100%, but you don't recognize. Why? Because to do the production, normal loss is necessary. To get an output of 100 kilograms, it is necessary to put 110 kilograms, right? To get a 9 kilogram output, it is necessary to put 10 kilograms. If you are not putting 10 kilograms, you are not getting 9 kilograms output. So that's why we assume that is a mandatory loss. So we don't recognize, because it is mandatory to have the production output, right? Then abnormal loss. Can anyone tell me abnormal loss is how much done? Percentage basis, how much done? Abnormal loss. It's 100%. It's 100%. If the normal loss also 100%, abnormal loss also 100%. So are we going to recognize abnormal loss? So normal loss we don't recognize, right? Are we going to recognize? Yes. Why? Because normal loss is a mandatory loss, but abnormal loss we haven't expected, right? We have to consider it is unexpected. So this is 300. This is 300. This is 300. Then what about the closing WIP? Tell me the percentages for closing WIP. So closing WIP percentage, how much? Right? Closing WIP percentage, how much? Yes, Fatima, very good. Others? Very good, Samla, very good. Very good. Ashmita, okay, 100% is what? Can we go to the paper? Yes, yes, very good. Ashmita, very good. Mahadi, very good. What it says, at the end of the month, there were 1,100 kilograms of closing work in progress in stock, which were 100%, 40%, and 30% completed. Given. It's given in the question. Yes, Amod, very good. So that is 100%, 40%, 30% done. So now easy. This into this 1,100, this into 40%, 440, this into 30%, 330. Right? Done. Now you can get the answer. Right? Now you can get the answer. What we called here, that is equivalent units, right? Because this is the equivalent unit statements. Equivalent units. So this is when you get the total input should be 10,500, right? These three, when you get these three, it is should be 10,000. These three should be 9,340. 9,340, just the right calculation. Then this is 9,230. 9,230. Done. Now, Lamai, we have calculated equivalent units. But our second step is calculate the equivalent unit cost. Right. Now you have calculated units. Now then you need to calculate what? You need to calculate the total cost. So how to calculate the total cost? How to calculate the total cost of students? What you need to put? These are the units, right? Now to get this output, so how much you put as direct material? What you need to write here first? Tell me someone. What you need to write here? What you need to write here? First one. Yes. Opening WIP cost. Students, make sure. Now we are opening WIP cost. Now we are assuming what? Why we not putting opening stock amount 500 kilogram? It's there, right? This is included. I think you got to misrepresented the students, right? I think you are misrepresenting with the 5-4, right? In 5-4, right? I'm just telling you because there are two students who asked. In 5-4, what we are doing is we have to recognize two things. Others, no need to just memorize this. You have closing WIP finished, right? So this is 500 last month. Then started and finished. Started and finished 8,100. So the total is 8,600. Okay. If it is a 5-4, you need to recognize this separately. But if it is back, you don't need to separate and recognize. Why? Because we assume this 500 also 100% done in this month. So if you recognize this into what is happening, it's same, right? If you recognize this separately, what is happening? It's also 100% done, 500, 100% done. So you can get it as a cumulative value, 8,600, right? 8,600 if it is a WAC method. So the 5-4 method, you are not going to be tested. So don't worry on that, right? So 8,600, that's done. So here student opening WIP cost. Why you put opening WIP cost? Now my previous answer, you have the explanation. What is that? We assume in WIP method, though let's say something done in the last month, we assume what? 100% will be done in this month. Right? We assume 100% May month we assume 100% will be done in this month. So when you do 100, so let's say this is just example. 20% done in the last month, 80% done in this month. So what is happening? So now 100% done. But we assume 100% will be done in here. Now to do the 80% remaining completion in this month, you are utilizing the cost of 8,000 students, right? Now you only put the 8,000 and recognize this 100% units. Is it correct? No. Why? Because we assume 100% will be done in this month. So we assume this 20% also will be done in this month. So what you need to do? Whatever the cost utilized, consumed to produce this 20% in last month also, you have to add to this month's cost. So this, let's say 2,000, we have to put the 2,000 and 8,000, then you have to get the answer. So that's why in WAC method, WAC method, you put the opening WIP cost here. So opening WIP, is it given? Yes. Go to the paper. It's given, see, 175,000, 17,400, 7,330. Right? So let's write them. 175,000, 175,000, 17,400, right? 7,330, 7,330, right? Then next one is what? So opening WI, make sure if you do the WAC method and if you have opening WIP only, you have this adjustment. In some of the past papers, you don't have opening WIP. Then the students say, okay, good place, done. Yes. Why? Opening WIP not there. So very easy to get marks, right? But if you have opening WIP, you have to have this column. Okay, opening WIP cost. Next one is what? Next one. What is this? Next one. Next one. Next one. What's the next one? Current month cost. Very good. Current month cost. Current month cost. So is it given? Yes, it is given. It is given. Go to the paper. Right? It is given. See, 3.6, 1.9444, 648. Just write them. So this is 3.6 billion given. Then 1,944, 1,944. Then 648, 648, 648. So you have the current month cost. Is there anything to add or minus? Is there anything to add or minus, students? Now you have the opening WIP cost, current month cost. Is there anything to add or minus? Is it done? What is that? Yes. We have identified here normal loss. We are not going to recognize the cost. Why? Because it is mandatory. But when you have the normal loss of student, if you can sell the normal loss, let's say small wooden pieces when you are manufacturing a chair, small fabric, right? When you are having the cloth, the cutted items, right? Small things. When you are having a production, the small pieces you are getting out as the normal loss, the scrap, you can sell and earn something. Now we identify the normal loss as a cost of this production. That's why we don't recognize separately. We assume it should happen. It's mandatory. But if you can get the normal loss, you can sell and receive something. So what you are going to do? Now you are going to reduce that. Why? Because it's a saving. It's a cost saving. Right? Scrap value of normal loss. That is how much, students? Scrap value is 500. Sorry, normal loss is 500. How much you can sell? 1. It's in the question. Go to the paper. Right? It's there. 5% direct material, you can sell at 100. Yes, 100. So 500 into 100, that is how much? 50,000. That is how much? 50,000. Now a student can ask, so why you are putting 50,000 here? Can't you divide that, put here? Yes, your logic is correct. Logically, you can put them here as well, because this is we normally use, right? There is no logic to put. Only under the direct material we put here because it's to easier the question. Because if you are putting there, the examiner will face huge problems. So normally it's like tradition in process costing. The scrap value of the normal loss we only deduct from the direct material. Then students, now you can get the cost, right? Equivalent, the total cost you can get. Total cost you can get. So the total cost is how much? Now tell me, student, tell me the answers. Tell me the answers. Tell me the answers. 175, 3.6 million minus 50,000. How much? How much? Tell me the total cost. Let's say total net cost. You can tell us total net cost. How much? This is 3,725,000. Is it? Am I correct? Then 17,400, 1,944,000. Right? This is 19,61,400. This is 7,330, 648. That is, yes, 655, 330. I hope you got it. This is the final net cost. But our objective is what? Step 2 objective is to calculate the equivalent unit cost. Now, students, how to calculate the equivalent unit cost? Equivalent unit cost, how to calculate? So, how to calculate the equivalent unit cost? How to calculate the equivalent unit cost? Now, you know, equivalent units are 10,000. The total cost is 3.725. You know, direct labor equivalent units 9,340. Total cost is 1.961,400. So what you can do? You know the total cost divided by the equivalent units. This divided by this divided by this divided by this. You can find out what? Equivalent unit cost. So tell me the equivalent unit cost of direct material, direct labor, and variable overhead. How much? How much? How much? Yes, 3.725 divided by 10,000. So 372.5. 372.5. The next one, 1,961,400. 1,961,400 divided by 9,340, which is 210. 655,330. 655,330 divided by 9,230, which is 71. Which is 71, right? So these are the equivalent unit cost of direct material, direct labor, and variable overhead. Now you can get the total completed product equivalent unit cost. How much? 372.5 plus 210 plus 71. How much? 653.5. 653.5 is what? The equivalent unit cost of one unit. 100% completed unit. Now, student, our step 2 is done, right? Our step 2 is done. This is our step 2. So what is our step 3? Is to get the value. It is to get the value, right? I'm going to have a small line here to separate. Okay. Now, before that, I'm going to have a ledger account, the process account here. Because I can do step 3 and 4 simultaneously, right? So then I can explain that to you. So here, students, you should have a, let's say, process account, divide that into 2. Here you have the value, here you have the units, here you have the description, right? Description, units, value. Okay, again, description, units, value. Okay. This is the process account, right? Process account. So student, make sure this. What you put, this is the step 4, right? This is step 2. So step 3 to be done here is step 4. What you need to put in the debit side of the process account, I will explain. Can you tell me what you are putting in the process account debit side? You put process account debit side what? Whatever things you are insert into the process, whatever you are put into the process, what is there? You have opening WIP, you have direct material, you have direct labor, you have variable overheads. These are the things you are inserting to the process. These are the things you are getting to the process account debit side. Opening WIP, you get the process account debit or WIP account credit. If you need the ledger, double entry, you can write down, no need, right? So direct material, the process account debit, materials credit. Direct labor, process account debit. So whatever you're inserting is coming as the debit. So how much of units? Opening WIP, you had 500, right? Opening WIP, you had 500. Direct material, student, you put 10,000. 10,000. So opening 500, value is how much? Key the value again. Opening 500, where it's there, go to the paper. Yes, opening 500, see, 175,000, 17,400. This one, see, 175,000, 17,400, 7,330. Get the total of these three. 175,000, see, 17,400, 7,330, which is 199. 199, 730. 199, 730 is the cost of the opening WIP. So the direct material, direct labor, variable overhead, these are the cost. It's there. It's there. So 3.6 billion. Direct material, 3.6 billion. Direct labor, 1,944,000. Variable overheads, 648. So it's done. This side done. What is in the credit side of the process account? If debit side you have whatever you are putting, credit side you should have what? Whatever you put, you have in the debit side. Whatever you are getting out should have in the credit side. So what? You have normal loss, right? Let's say before normal loss, we can put the finished goods maybe. Let's start with the finished goods, right? Finished goods. Finished goods. So normal loss, what we recognize normal loss here? In normal loss, what we recognize? In normal loss, what we recognize? In what we recognize in normal loss? The scrap value, normal loss scrap value. Then abnormal loss and clause in WIP. Clause in WIP, whatever you are getting as the output. Now you know the units, students, because we have calculated. Why? Finished goods, you know how much? 8,600. See, finished goods, you know, 8,600. Normal loss, you know, 500. Right? 500. Abnormal loss, you know, 300. 300. Closing WIP, you know, 1,100. So what you don't know is the value. What you don't know is the value. So that's what we are going to calculate in the step 3. So how to calculate now the finished goods? Value of the finished goods. Can someone tell me the value of the finished goods? There is a direct way and there is a long way. Small, I mean easy way and a longer way. How much is the finished goods value? Can someone tell me? Can someone tell me? Yes. Very good. Nasreen, very good. So how did you get it? How did you get it? Now tell me, student, finished good means how much percentage done from each of these cost components? This finished good 8,600. How much done in each of these? Direct material, direct labor, variable overhead, how much done? Finished goods, how much done in each of these cost component? It's there, right? It's there. Finished good, finished good. I'm asking finished good. We are discussing this 8,600 still. This finished good, may finished good එක පුතේ කොච්චර ඉවර වෙලා තියෙනවද? හැම cost component එකෙම. How much is done? This finished goods 8,600. It's done how much from each of the cost component? 100%. 100%. So if a product is 100% done, you know the equivalent unit cost is how much? 653.5. See, 653.5 into 8,600. 8,600. You can get the answer directly. How much? 653.5 into 8,600. I hope Nasreen got the answer like that, right? Maybe other way. So that is 5,620,100. So this is a one way. This is a one way. If not, you have a long ways as well, right? So it's your hand. Which way you are going to follow? It is in your hand, right? What is that? The second way is, this is 8,600. So 8,600 into 372.5, right? 8,600 into, see, this one into this one, 372.5. So that is 3,203,500. Okay. Then 8,600 again into 210. 210. That is 1,806,000. Then again 8,600 into 71. This into 71. This is 610, 600, 610, 600. Right? So the total of these three is how much? 3,203,500 plus 1,806,000, 610, 600. That is also 5,620,100. So in either way, student, you can get the answer, because why? Finished goods 100% done in all three components. So let's write the answer. 5,620,100. 100, right? So then normal loss, scrap value. Do you need to calculate it? You don't need to calculate it, right? You have already calculated here. Normal loss, scrap value, see, 50,000. Just put there. Just put there. Now, abnormal loss 300. Abnormal loss 300. Tell me how much is the answer? Abnormal loss 300, how much? Abnormal loss 300. How much? You can get that also directly. Sorry, this is 653.5 into 300. Directly you can get. You don't need to, go in the long way. Yes. 300 into 653.5. 196. 196. Very good. Very good, Nasri. Very good. Yes, Fatima. Very good. If not, you can go in the other way. How? 300 into 372.5 here. 300 into 210 here. 300 into this one here. Again, total. Anything is okay. So 196, 050. 196, 050. Why? Because it's 100% done, man. 100% done. So you can get 300 into 653.5. Directly you can get the answer. Final one is the closing WIP. It's the closing WIP. I write this in red pen. So now can you do that like this? 653.5 into like this, can you do? So closing WIP. Can someone tell me? No. Why? No, you cannot do 653.5 into 1100. Why? See, closing WIP 100% done direct material, but 40% done direct labor, 30% done variable overheads. So if this is 100% done, if this is 100% done, you can get 1100 into 653.5, get the answer directly. You cannot do that. You can do that only if you have all these completed 100%. If it is changed, if it is different from cost component to component, you cannot get like that. Now, here you need to do the other way. What is that? See, 1100 into 372.5. How much? 1100 into 372.5, which is 409,750, right? Yes, very good. Nasreen. Okay. Yeah. After that, I will give you a summary again, right? So 440. So this is 440. Anyway, you can watch in the YouTube as well, right? Later as well. So 440. This is to 210. This is to 210. This is 92,400. 92,400, right? So this is 330. 330 into 71. 330 into 71, that is 23,430. 23,430. Now, how much is the answer? This is the closing WIP. So, closing WIP, you cannot get like the finished goods and the abnormal loss. So, how much is student answer? 92,400. So, 23,430, which is 525,580, right? 525,580. 525,580. Now, if this is correct, what should happen? If this is correct, what should happen? Right? Normally, if it is incorrect, also can happen, because if it is debit and credit. But if it is correct, yes. So both sides should balance, right? So both sides should balance. So see whether this is balancing. Units and value should balance, right? This is 10,500. It's 10,500 balance. Others, see whether 199,730, 3.6 million, 1944, 648. So 6,391,730. This one 5620 100, 50,000, 196,050, 525,580, 525,580. It should be same 6,391,730. Now, students, this is what the process costing. This is what the process costing. Now, small recap, conclusion. We know there are 4 steps. I want you to tell me the 4 steps now. Tell me what is the step 1? What is the step 1? Quick recap. Quick recap. Step 1 is what? Step 1 is what? Step 1. Step 1, which is I have erased here, determining output and losses. So what we have done, we put the opening WIP, right? We put the input, we minus the normal loss, we minus the closing WIP, we determine the expected output. Then we looked at the difference between the expected output and the actual output. So that difference we call as the abnormal loss or gain. If it is a higher amount, it's a gain. Now, if it is abnormal gain, student, what you are going to do? Abnormal gain, what you are going to do? Abnormal gain, there are two things to be changed. What is that? This is abnormal loss. If it is abnormal gain, what is happening? If it is abnormal gain, what is happening? It is a minus. It is a minus in equivalent unit statement. If it is abnormal gain, student, this should be minus, right? And if it is abnormal gain, what is happening? In the process account, it should be which side? Abnormal loss, credit side. So it should be debit side. Debit side in the process account. Then that is the process. That is the step 1. Step 2 is to prepare the equivalent unit statement, right? What we have done, we have used all the outputs from the input, whatever outputs we are getting. Finished goods, normal loss, abnormal loss, closing WIP. So finished good, this is WAC method. So we assume 100% will be done in this month. So finished good means 100% done. So you put 100% done, calculate the equivalent units you calculate. Normal loss, you put the percentage, but not the amount because it is mandatory to have the normal loss. Abnormal loss also you put 100%, you identify because it's something we haven't expected. So if the question doesn't say where they recognize how losses, you can tell as this is 100% done. If they are telling in the middle, maybe you have to change. That kind of question will not be tested at AAT final level. So closing WIP, you have to get from the question, whatever the percentages. So you get it, then you calculate the equivalent units from each of the cost component. Then you put whatever the cost. Opening WIP, you have to put if there is opening WIP in the question. If you don't have, you don't need to put it. Then the current month cost, which is in the question. Then the scrap value of the normal loss, because it's a cost saving for us, you deduct, get the total cost, get the equivalent unit cost, this divided by this, this divided by this, this divided by this, you get it. Then the total equivalent unit cost you get 653.5, right? Then the finished goods and the abnormal loss, since that is 100% done in each of the cost component, you can get the directly into 653.5, which is 8,600 is the finished good amount, 300 is the abnormal loss. But the clause in WIP, you cannot do that. Why? Because this is 100%, this is 40%, this is 30%. So you get the answer, right? Separately, this into this, this into this, this into this, this into this. Then you get the clause in WIP. This is the step 3. Step 3 is what? Step 3 is the getting the cost, right? Okay, getting the cost. So step 4 is the ledger accounts. You know, whatever you are putting, you are inserting will be in the debit side. Whatever you are getting out is in the credit side. So you put the clause in WIP here. So all these, see, whatever they are in this one is there in this one as well, right? So then for opening WIP, how calculate? So in step 3. So then for opening WIP, how calculated? Opening WIP is to, I think someone has misrepresented, right? Student, you have only WAC in your AAT final, right? So opening WIP, that's why I'm telling WAC method, you have an assumption that you assume 100% will be done in this month, right? 5-4 is not in AAT final examination, right? That is in chartered. Chartered level 2 you have, ACCA you have, but in AAT final 5-4 will not be tested. How 197.30? 197.30. Where are the 197.30? 197.30. No, sir. How 197.30 is there? What? Where 197.30? Can you tell me where that this is? Where this is? 199.730. 199. This one. Oh, this is from the question. Right? So go to the paper. Go to the paper. Right? This is from the question. See? At the opening, beginning of the month, they have 500 kilograms. 100% completed, 175. See, we have put here. Okay. Direct labor, 20%, 17,400. Variable overhead, 7,330. Now get it to the board. Right? So these three. Right? See, very easy thing. It is from the question. Copy and paste. This one, and this one plus. You get the answer. That is 199,730. Right? Easy thing. So this is our students. We have to do, right? So once you do this, I mean, if you go to step 4 steps, you can do the process cost question, right? So don't worry, at the examination, you can get all these 14 marks. So students, now I also became like you. I achieved the chartered qualification, ACC qualification, whatever the Australian qualification and whatever all others by starting from AAT. So I hope you have few more days left, right? So please make sure to study well these days because your BMICH ceremony will be there in few months. So if you are getting through, you can attend the next ceremony. So student, all the very best. Let's work well these days. So I'm doing this as a social responsibility. AAT Sri Lanka is doing this as a social responsibility. So I would like to thank AAT Institute again for inviting me to this session. And I hope you have got something here, right? So if you got something, please send a message to the chat box. Maybe I cannot give you the phone number, but I can give you my email if you need. You can send, right? Any question if you have, right? Can you put here? This is Hashan Waduge, right? My name. hashanwaduge@gmail.com. If you need to clarify anything, right? You can send me an email, right? hashanwaduge@gmail.com. So, right? So, students, thank you so much for joining with this. So, I hope in few years, maybe we can see you as a CEO, director, head of finance, CFO in a reputed organization. Maybe you start your own business. After this qualification, maybe you achieve some other. So all the very best, study well. I wish you a success for your career.
Okay, dear student, today we could complete both Sinhala and English webinars for MAF subjects. But for the CPT and FCA subjects, we could cover only the Sinhala medium webinars, and English medium recorded webinars for both CPT and FCA subjects will be released for AAT YouTube page by this Friday. With this, we can conclude the webinar series for level 3 subjects, and thank you very much, Mr. Hashan Waduge. Now, for nearly 4 hours now, right? The support extended for AAT student. Thank you again, Hassan sir. And finally, thank you all the students for participating with this AAT seminar series. Thank you.